Hi everyone everywhere in the world. Today's video is probably about all of you, as we will touch almost every continent and part of the world in our story about top 10 railway journeys in the world. So is it going to be Europe, Asia, South or North America, or Africa, or some other region? Where do the couples go for honeymoon? Which line leads you to the best aurora borealis views? How many of them are going through the desert? And which one goes through multiple time zones and countries? Stay in the video and let's find out. Stockholm Narvik, or Arctic Circle train. Hej allihopa, välkomna till Sverige! This is probably one of my favorite rail journeys, and there are many reasons why it got placed on this list. Arctic Circle train is a journey from Stockholm in Sweden to an ice-free port in Norway called Narvik. Train will usually depart from Stockholm in the evening, and it takes roughly 20 hours to get to the far north of Norway. Before you get on the train, you can find some time to explore the beautiful city of Stockholm. Train journey is a story for itself and a very unique experience. As the journey starts in the evening, there is not that much to see outside until early morning, but it is a great chance to get familiar with the train if you're a railway nerd, to take a rest in a sleeper car, to mingle with other people, or one of the most popular things in Sweden, visit the restaurant and grab a coffee and a cookie, celebrate so-called Swedish fika. This is not just a tourist train, so you will get the opportunity to meet many local people as the train rides through numerous cities in Sweden. However, the best part of the journey is when you wake up and make sure to be early, grab another fika and realize that you are already in the Arctic Circle, approaching a well-known mining city called Kiruna. You will be stunned by spectacular landscapes, but the best is yet to come. By the way, did you know that Kiruna is the city that will be fully moved for 5 kilometers by 2100? If you want to know more, check my other video on that. After you pass Kiruna, the scenery becomes more and more dramatic. Soon you will be passing next to the second largest lake in Sweden, Torneträsk, and arrive at Abisko, a national park and one of the best places in the world to see the northern lights, so-called aurora borealis. But that's not the only things to see here, as this area is very known for many moose and reindeer herds, Nordic skiing, Sami people, dog sledge, and much more. After Abisko, the next stop is Björkliden, which is known for skiing, and soon after that there is the Swedish-Norwegian border. And one tip here, if you ever visit this railway, you will notice that the border between countries is in the tunnel. So one side of the tunnel is colored by Swedish flag and the other one is colored by Norwegian flag. One very interesting thing to observe is the difference between houses in Sweden and Norway, where while Norway has these like greyish houses, Sweden has these beautiful red houses, often called stugas. The Norwegian side of the journey is stunning as well. There are stunning mountains, waterfalls, and lots of snow. As mentioned before, the journey ends in Narvik, an ice-free port, but also known for salmon export. And for all railway nerds over there, this railway line is actually predominantly used for iron ore transport. But did you know that rails allow for 32 tons axle loading? That's pretty amazing considering the conditions. Before we go to the next one, I just want to mention that there is one more amazing journey in Norway called Bergensbanen, between Oslo and Bergen. Definitely worth visiting. The TranzAlpine. Kia ora koto katoa. Welcome to Aotearoa, a country that you probably know by the name New Zealand. Our next railway is just there, more precisely on the South Island. New Zealand is very well known by its nature, volcanoes, mountains, numerous beaches, Maori people, and many more. Even though public transport is not very popular here, there are some railway lines that are just breathtaking. One of them is TranzAlpine Railway that runs between east and west coastline between Christchurch and Greymouth. Journey takes around 5 hours, and what makes it very unique is that this is the only narrow gauge railway on our list. You can start your journey from either direction, but it might be a better option to start from Christchurch. This is a very tourist railway and you can feel it when you enter on board. You will be sitting in a beautiful open view of railway cars and enjoying some delicious food from an onboard cafe restaurant. First part of the journey is pretty much flat and you will enjoy some Canterbury Plains, which are one of the agricultural regions in New Zealand. However, you will get a feeling where you are heading as snowy southern Alps will soon appear in your view. By the way, did you know that you can ski in New Zealand? Between Springfield and Arthur's Pass, you will be astounded by sceneries, but also incredible railway engineering masterpiece through these mountains. It was a big challenge to build tracks here. Many tunnels, bridges, river gorges, viaduct crossings, Waimakariri River, all very dramatic and in different colors. One of the best moments of this journey is the scenery of Mount Binsur and Waimakariri River alongside Lake Sara. Again, for railway nerds, between Otira and Artus Pass there is a very known Otira tunnel, 8.5 kilometers long and with gradient 1 in 33 or roughly 3%. Pretty amazing, right? The journey continues towards Greymouth and Lake Brunner, which is one of the larger lakes on South Island. I think that it would be good to mention that there are some other astonishing rail journeys in New Zealand, such as Northern Explorer and Coastal Pacific. They are all tourist railways and give you an amazing experience of New Zealand's dramatic landscape. When you are done with your journey, have a seat, relax, take a sip of the best Sauvignon Blanc in the world, preferably from the Marlborough region. Before we go to the next one, just want to mention that the full journey on TranzAlpine will be available in January on my channel, so make sure to hit that bell button. Tokaido Shinkansen. Is it really possible to have a list of the best railway journeys in the world without mentioning Shinkansen? Honestly, hardly. Probably the best train in the world, running and delivering high-speed services from 1964 throughout Japan without any notable accidents. You might also know it by the name bullet train. Today, the Shinkansen network is very large in Japan, and it is actually not a tourist railway but a regular service line between major cities in Japan. However, we'll take a look at one very specific line called Tokaido Shinkansen. This is the line that connects Japan's three largest metropolitan areas, Tokyo, Nagoya and Osaka. This journey is not that much about nature and sceneries, but much more about real high-speed train experience. There are three different categories of trains operating here called Nozomi, Hikari and Kodama. The difference between those is in trip duration, as they have different numbers of stops. With the fastest train, you will reach Osaka in under 2.5 hours. You have probably seen a very famous picture of a train and mountain peak in the background, which is actually scenery on the Tokaido Shinkansen line. This is a perfect match between a bullet train and a glimpse of Mount Fuji. What makes the Shinkansen so unique is excellent railway service, and that means fast, reliable, comfortable and safe rail journey on a regular basis. Did you know that Shinkansen runs every few minutes in peak hour at max speed reaching over 300 km per hour? While you are on the train, don't forget to buy some delicious ekiben. There are different rail car classes, so based on your budget you can enjoy regular rail cars or some very luxurious ones. Either one you choose, the experience will be great. If you're lucky, you can spot the famous Dr. Yellow Shinkansen, responsible for track and wayside equipment monitoring, or even the Hello Kitty Shinkansen. Japan is planning new high-speed railway lines based on magnetic levitation technology called maglev, but until they come, Shinkansen is for sure one of the best trains in the world. However, if you're in some other part of the world, there are numerous high-speed railways in Spain, France, Germany, China, and so on that offer great experiences as well. California Zephyr. This one was a very hard decision between the Canadian and California Zephyr. They are both great journeys in North America. It is hard to decide which one is more attractive. However, I decided to go for California Zephyr this time, but you cannot make a mistake whichever you choose. California Zephyr is Amtrak's train that runs between San Francisco in California and Chicago in Illinois. This is almost 4,000 km journey. It will take you approximately 52 hours to get from one city to another. This journey will take you through some other cities such as Salt Lake City, Denver and Omaha. This probably gives you an idea that it is good to hop on and off the train and explore all of them. But that's not what this train is known for. It is actually more about amazing terrains that this rail line conquers on its journey, such as Rocky Mountains, Sierra Nevadas, Moffat Tunnel, Colorado's Gore, Byers and Glenwood Canyons, Winter Park, Truckee River, Donner Lake, San Pablo Bay and the Carquinez Strait. You will travel through 7 different states: California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Nebraska, Iowa and Illinois. There are different cars on the train hauled by well-known Siemens locomotives. Beside baggage cars, there are also sleeper cars and classic coaches, but also restaurant cars, observation cars, where you can enjoy beautiful sceneries from the train. There is an option to run the train in both directions, either from Chicago or from San Francisco. This gives the possibility to combine it with some other train routes in the USA. California Zephyr is truly a unique journey, and you will see very different sceneries across your journey, pass very different cities and enjoy some good food on board. It is also a very affordable trip, so it's a great choice to explore many famous spots in the US by train. However, if you don't find it very inspiring, make sure to check the Canadian train journey from Toronto to Vancouver. Rovos Rail Namibia Safari. Rovos Rail is a brand name for multiple train routes operated in Africa. One of them is called Namibia Safari, and the name by itself tells a lot. This is truly an amazing experience lasting for 12 nights while traveling more than 3,400 kilometers. You can either choose to depart from Pretoria in South Africa or Walvis Bay in Namibia. It is very a luxurious journey with extraordinary railway cars and unique excursions. Each train has accommodation cars, a restaurant, a lounge car, gift shop, and observation car with an open-air balcony. There are different car classes, but all of them are excellent and provide a high level of service. Every day on a journey is a story for itself and unique experience. If traveling from Pretoria, you will get a chance to visit the Diamond Mine Museum, the Big Hole, places very known for diamond discovery. Next day, you will get a chance to explore the Orange River, the longest river in South Africa. On day 4, there is a visit to the Fish River, one of the largest canyons in the world. After every visit, there is a time for mingling and dining on the train. Day 5 is a time for the ghost towns of Kolmanspook and Luderitz. Later on, you will get the chance for a short aircraft flight for an overnight stay in Sossusvlei and visit the famous red dunes of the Namib Desert, beautifully colored sand due to iron oxide content. On day 9, you will visit a cheetah conservation project in Otjiwarongo, and sorry for pronunciation, dedicated to saving cheetahs around the world. Day 10 and 9 are reserved for Etosha National Park, a great place to spot many species of mammals, birds and reptiles. On the last day, you will arrive in Walvis Bay and have some time to explore this city in Namibia. Overall, this railway journey is basically like a train hotel journey with numerous excursions and adventures. Also providing high level of service on board, it deserves its place on our list of best journeys in the world. However, all this experience comes with a price and a lot of demands, so make sure to book it on time. If you prefer to visit some other destinations, there are great trips to Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, Victoria Falls, Durban and similar. The Jacobite steam train. How many trains in the world do you know that run on steam power? Probably just a few. However, one is very famous and is known as one of the best train rides in the world. This is a truly unique experience even for the fans of Harry Potter. Starting near the highest mountain in Britain, Ben Nevis, it takes you on a trip to Britain's most westerly mainland railway station, Erisig, over the iconic Glenfinnan Viaduct and finally arriving next to the deepest seawater loch in Europe, Loch Nevis. Train operates between Fort William and Mallaig. This is indeed a very short journey, however it's definitely worth visiting. Either you like to taste English tea or coffee on board, reimagine some stories from your favorite Harry Potter book, or enjoy a train that was running on steam engines in the 19th and part of 20th century. Probably the most notable thing about this journey is passing the Glenfinnan Viaduct, 381 meters long and 30 meters high viaduct, which is actually one of the best known railway viaducts in the world. If you come to visit this railway line, it's a great chance to try some other routes in Great Britain such as Caledonian Sleeper and many others. The Ghan. Welcome to Australia. This country continent deserves a spot on our list with its famous Ghan train. The Ghan is the train that runs between Adelaide and Darwin in Australia. Name comes from the Afghan cameleers who helped explore and build infrastructure in the outback. However, it is not very clear if this story is true and there are some other versions as well. This is a very well organized train journey for tourists with unique experience on train and off train. Note that the journey can be shorter as well if you choose to board in Alice Springs, for example. Beginning in Darwin or Adelaide, this 4-day, 3-night, 2,979 kilometers all-inclusive journey will take you to some of the most remote and captivating parts of Australia in style and comfort. From the railway perspective, train length is approximately 774 meters with 36 carriages on average, hauled by diesel locomotives. There are different rail cars on the train, but they all offer excellent service. You can choose between gold and platinum service with numerous classes in both of these. There is an Outback Explorer lounge as well. There are 3 restaurant carriages where you can indulge yourself in high-end cuisine, fine wines and many more. All 3 are designed differently to accommodate different preferences. Besides exclusive onboard service, which is accompanied by 49 service crew on board by the way, the Ghan offers excellent off-train experience as well. If you start your journey from Darwin, you will spend some time mingling in the train before you arrive in Katherine. There you will be enjoying a cruise through Nitmil's gorgeous ancient natural wonders and exploring the region's rich indigenous culture. After you spend your first night with tasty dinner and comfortable cabins, next day is a time for an excursion in small town Alice Springs, which is part of the well-known Red Centre, extraordinary landscape and some of the Aboriginal Australia's most sacred sites. Third day is very interesting as there is a visit to a place called Coober Pedy where they say that half of people live underground. You will be served dinner underground in this mining town. Before arriving in Adelaide, you will get some time to enjoy your trip on the train and summarize your experience from previous days. The Ghan is definitely a truly unique railway experience, and although very pricey, it's worth visiting as it gives an extraordinary train experience that can't be found in many places in the world, but also rides through some amazing outbacks of Australia. Andean train journey from Lima to Huancayo. Our next journey is from South America, more precisely Peru. You may not have heard about this journey before, but it is indeed one of the most spectacular rail journeys. This is a tourist train and it doesn't run that often actually, just a couple of times per year. Three very unique things about this railway line are the altitude change between Lima and Huancayo, scenic ends, and perfect railway track engineering. You will start your trip at 150 meters altitude and climb up to 4,781 meters, which is one of the highest railways in the world. While climbing, you will get a chance to see some of the most beautiful mountains in the world. And lastly, you will ride a railway line that has more than 50 bridges, more than 60 tunnels, and very interesting track design. But we will come to that later. It will take you 14 hours to get from Lima to Huancayo. Train by itself is not of the best quality, but this journey is more about another experience. However, there is some food on board and rail cars are in generally good condition with very nice windows and very spacious. One important thing to know for this journey is that it can be a bit tricky to breathe as the air is much thinner on higher altitude, so make sure to acclimatize yourself. There is oxygen available if you're not feeling well also. So beside unforgettable landscape which I mentioned and some llamas here and there, this line has some amazing rail feature. For example, one interesting thing is that in San Bartolome station, locomotives are managed on a turntable in order to continue its journey towards mountains by manual force. And not sure if always, to be honest. There are some stunning bridges such as Puente Carrion and Puente El Inferniello or Galera station, the second highest railway station in the world. And probably the most interesting thing, track design. There are 6 so-called switchbacks or zigzags, a very unique rail design solution used when there is no other way to conquer steep gradients. It is also used to minimize earthworks. Due to some disadvantages, it is not a desirable solution. Still, it exists in many countries. One example is Darjeeling Himalayan Railway or Tren a las Nubes in Argentina. I might make another video on how it works. Beside these zigzags, there are numerous spirals. I cannot imagine how big a project this was. I read somewhere that one of the engineers leading the project said, wherever llamas can go, the railway will go as well. And there it is. Definitely worth visiting. However, if you find yourself in some other part of the world, you can experience what is today the highest railway line in the world called Qinghai Tibet Railway in China. Another interesting experience for sure. It features the highest railway point in the world, highest railway tunnel, and highest railway station in the world. And by the way, sorry for these pronunciations, they're pretty hard to be honest. Mauritania iron ore train. Do you remember how you planned your honeymoon trip? It was probably some exotic destination or some very unique experience somewhere in the world. But what about the idea of having your honeymoon on a train, in the desert, on a bunch of iron ore? Sounds crazy, but somewhat exciting as well. This is what one couple did a few months ago. Please follow the guy, he has amazing videos from all around the world. Welcome to Mauritania. Now, before I begin with the explanation, I want to put a disclaimer. This is basically not passenger railway journey, but you need to board some of the freight rail cars that transport iron ore from one city to another. Basically, you are hitchhiking, so please be aware of that. Conditions are very harsh and it is important to get familiar with everything if you ever decide to take this trip. However, it is definitely the journey to remember. Mauritania iron ore train is 2.5 kilometers long train that runs 700 kilometers through Saharan desert. There are sometimes passenger rail cars as well, but not on every train. It is also usually very packed with locals, so it is likely that you will cross Sahara on top of an iron ore pile. Journey usually starts in mining town Zouérate, where you need to decide which wagon will be your room for the next 20 hours. Another option is to jump on the train at Chom, and again, sorry for pronunciation, which is 8 hours shorter journey. Whichever option you choose, make sure to have enough food, water, and be ready for hot days and freezing nights, so dress yourself well. Also important thing to consider is a lot of dust from iron ore, so it is very important to cover your face and eyes well. If you thought that your ski goggles will never be used in the desert, you have been wrong. Also be aware that other people could be traveling on rail cars, even farmers with animals. During the trip you will probably meet many Bedouins who live somewhere in the desert next to the railway line. Although this journey looks very extreme, it is also one of the most amazing journeys by the train in the world. Just imagine enjoying the sunset and vastness of Saharan desert all alone, or having a look over beautiful train in the middle of nowhere. Mauritanian rail journey definitely deserves its place on my list. And number 1, Trans-Siberian railway journey. No matter if you're a railway engineer, have some passion for railways, or just love to travel, I believe that this is by far the best railway journey in the world. Welcome to Trans-Siberian Railway. While exploring Trans-Siberian history and its development, somewhere I found a quote that says, "There is no railway journey of comparable length anywhere in the world. The Trans-Siberian is a big train ride. All the rest are peanuts." Trans-Siberian Railway stretches from Moscow to Vladivostok, and on its journey train passed more than 100 stations. Here are 13 things that I compiled for what makes the Trans-Siberian journey so unique. This is basically the most complete railway journey in terms of rail experience, scenery, duration of trip, places visited, and many more. Journey starts in beautiful cosmopolitan Moscow with some stunning places such as St. Basil's Church, Bolshoi Theater, Red Square, and many more. Of course, no journey is made in the Russian capital without visiting the most beautiful metro in the world, which you can also have a look at my channel. Continuing your journey through Yekaterinburg, the Tsar city famous by family Romanov assassination, beautiful churches, vibrant city center, and many more. Further on, journey continued towards Siberia. Novosibirsk is one of the bigger spots with the feeling of the USSR era, but with beautiful buildings and very known theater, and for all railway nerds again, a beautiful railway station. Before arriving at one of the best places on Trans-Siberian trip, we can also mention that the train by itself is very unique. Almost all rail cars are sleeper cars with very nice compartments with all amenities, especially if you take your journey by a train called Rossiya. For all foodies, there is a restaurant car where breakfast, lunch and dinner are served every day. And do you know how long the trip actually takes? It takes 7 days actually, just on the train, a full 7 days. If you make stops, it becomes 15 days or even a month. Next stop is probably the best stop on this journey, one of the biggest and deepest lakes in the world, Lake Baikal, and the city of Irkutsk. You need to plan at least 3 days here, as there are so many things to do here. Swim in the lake, try local fish, explore the area around the lake, and much more. Also, if I ever make a video about the most beautiful, shortest railway trips in the world, the number 1 stop will go to Circum-Baikal Railway Excursion. If you haven't heard about this trip, make sure to check my other video about this journey. I'm sure you will enjoy it. After Lake Baikal, the next stop is Ulan-Ude, a very important stop on Trans-Siberian for a reason that the journey can split in 3 different ways in this location. You can continue regional Trans-Siberian and continue towards Vladivostok, or head towards Mongolia and continue in Trans-Mongolian. If you want to travel even more, after Mongolia you can head towards China and ride the Trans-Manchurian rail line. So many choices, right? I definitely suggest all 3, but if you decide to go with the first one, make sure to plan your time in Vladivostok, a very unique, very different and very must-see city in Russia. If you don't know why they call it Russian San Francisco, check my other video on that as well. Also, you may wonder how much all of this costs, and I made a full video on Trans-Siberian trip, budget-friendly and non-budget friendly, so feel free and help yourself. Before we end this video, I have 2 questions for you that you can reply to in the comments below. First question is, do you think all these rail journeys deserve to be on the list? And the second question is, which rail journey you think should be on the list instead? I'm looking forward to your comments, and please make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. It really means a lot to me for my future videos and new interesting topics, so please make sure to do that. There are other videos on the channel if you want to know more about some of these journeys, or if you're interested in railway education, please make sure to check it.